Hi, in this session let's look at other DML commands: insert, update and delete. Let's begin with insert. Insert is used to insert data into tables. Let's see some examples. Let's look at the structure, EMP table structure. We can see, let me create a table. EMPL is already existing, so let's see the data in the table. So we can see there are 15 records in this. Let's try to insert records into this table using insert statement. The syntax is insert into table name, values. Now open braces, and here you can enter the values uh, that you want to insert into this particular table. Let me insert the employee number as 9988. Employee name, since it is character data type, we have to enter in quotes. Let's say Tom. Job, let's say clerk. Manager, 7788. Hire date, they should be also in quotes. Let's give some date, 20 December 80. Salary, let's give it as 800. Then the next column is commission. Let's give it as 100, and then department number 10. Now you can see one row created. So we have inserted one record into this table. Now let's look at the data. Select star from EMPL. You can see now there are 16 records. Previously it was 15 records, and now it is 16. The data that we have entered comes in the last comes as the last record, and you can see the values 9988, and then name as Tom, and then the job is clerk, and so on and so forth. All the values that we have inserted into this table we can see at the end as last record. We can also insert data by specifying the columns. Let's see how to do that. Insert into table name. Here we can specify the column names: employee number, e-name, job, manager, hire date, cell, commission, department number. Then values, and here we can specify the values. Let's say 9989. Name as Steve, job as salesman, manager as 7788, hire date as some date, let's say 20 Jan 81, salary 1200, and then commission as 200, and department is 20. Now you can see the result, one row created, the message, and to look at the data that is inserted, you can execute the statement select star from EMPL, where you can see there are 17 records retrieved. Previously it was 16 rows, and now it is 17 rows, and you can see the data that we have inserted in the previous insert statement. So using column names also we can insert, and if we are not specifying column names, then we have to specify the order of the columns that are available in the table, then only the data gets inserted. Means data gets inserted, you can insert number into the column with number data type, but still for example in department number, if we are trying to insert some value which is not actually department number, it will be an issue. For example, or for salary, if you are inserting department number, So that is the issue. So it's always advisable to specify the column names and then insert the values. Now we have seen how to insert uh, data for all the columns. We also have an option to insert data for specific columns. That we can do by specifying the column names in the insert statement. Insert into EMPL. Here we can specify employee number, e-name, salary, department number, and you can say values 7790, 9990, then name Ron, and then we have specified salary, which is let's say 1500, and then department, let's say 20. Now you can see the values, one row is inserted and the values are available only for few columns. Let's look at the data. Select star from EMPL. Now you can see it's 18 records here, and you can see employee number, there is a value, employee name, there's a value, and the rest of them it's all blank. And you have value for salary and then for department number. So whatever values that we did not insert the data for, they become null. So you can see it all blank, which means the value is null. Now we can also insert null values. We can also insert null values by specifying null keyword. Let's see how to do that. Insert into EMPL. Let's say EMP number, ename. For ename, let's insert null, and for salary also null. Here we can say values, employee number, I'm giving some value here, and for ename I'm specifying null, and also single quotes for salary. Now one row created. Let's look at the data. One row has been inserted. Now let's look at the data in this table. Select star from table name. You can see it's 19 rows have been retrieved, and ename has it's a blank value, which is null value, and also even salary is null. We have specified these values here in this insert statement. For the rest of them, since we did not specify anything, the values will be null. So let's see if it is really null. We can run the query, select using is null condition, where let's say ename is null. You can see the record that we have inserted previously is retrieved, since the name here is null. Let's look at the condition giving salary as null. Let's see how the data is retrieved, what data is retrieved. Here you can see still even for this query as well, 9991 employee number is retrieved, since it is the only record where the salary is null. So this is the way of inserting null values into a table. Let's look at the update statement next. Update statement basically updates the record that is already available in the table. So it is used to change the values of a of data that is existing. If you look at the syntax, it will be something like this: update table name, and then set column is equal to whatever value you want to update, and where clause. If you want to specify some condition, you can specify here. So where column 1 is equal to some condition. Let's see examples. Let's look at the data first. from the EMPL table. Now let's update for the employee 9988. Let's update the job to salesman. So we have the statement update table name, set job is equal to, let's say, salesman, where employee number is equal to, let's say, 9988. If we execute this statement, we can see one row updated. Now let's look at the data. Select star from EMPL, where, or select star from EMPL. Let's look at the complete data. Here you can see for the employee 9988, the job is salesman, whereas previously it was clerk. So in this way, we can perform update to the data that is existing. Let's update some numeric data type, column with numeric data type. Let's say update EMPL set department number is equal to. So for this, for example, 7788. Let's update the department number. So previously it is uh, it's 20. Let's update it to 30. Department number is equal to 30, where employee number is equal to 7788. You can see one row updated. Let's look at the data in this table. Now let's look at the data for 7788. So employee squad, his department number has been updated to 30, and previously it was department number. He was part of the department 20. Let's see if we do not specify the where clause, what happens when we try to update the table. Let's say update table name. Let me update the commission as 1200. Set commission is equal to 1200. You can see all the records have been updated when we are not specifying the where clause. So what is happening is all the data that we are trying to update will be applicable to the whole table when we do not specify a where clause. Let's look at the data now. Let's start from EMPL. Now you can see the data, the commission value for all the rows, all the records have been updated to 1200. Since we did not specify the where clause in the update statement, the update is applied on all the records in a given table. We can also update multiple columns using update statement. Let's see how to do that. I'm reverting the changes using rollback. Now you can see it's only 15 records. Let's see how to update multiple columns. So from this data, let's update the employee number 9977. Let's update the job and also the department number using update statement. Update EMPL table name, set job is equal to, let's say, salesman, comma, department number is equal to, for 9977 department number is 10. Let's update it to 20, where employee number is equal to 9977. You can see one row updated. Let's look at the data. Now if you look at the data for 9977, the job has been modified to salesman, whereas it was clerk in the previous retrieval. And also the department number is 10 here, whereas post update the department number has changed to 20. So this way we can update multiple columns as well. Now, how to update a given value to null? Let's look at one example. Update EMPL, set job is equal to null, where employee number is equal to 9977. It says one row updated. Let's look at the data. Here we can see for 9977, the job was salesman, whereas in this retrieval the job has been updated to null. To check if it is really updated to null, we can execute the query. Execute a query. Select star from EMPL, where job is null. We can see two records have been retrieved, and 9977 that we have updated in the previous statement is also retrieved. So here job is null. Okay. Next is delete statement. Delete is used to delete records from table. So let's see how delete statement works. So the syntax for this delete statement is delete from table, and where condition is it's optional. You may or may not specify. Let uh, let's look at some example. Now I want to delete from this table. So you can say delete from EMPL, where employee number is equal to, let's say, 7369. You can see one row deleted. Let's retrieve the data from EMPL table. Now you can see only there are only 14 records, and the first record has been deleted, 7369. We can also delete multiple records based on conditions where based on the columns where the value is repeated. For example, department number. Let's see how the values are deleted. So we can say delete from table name, where department number is equal to 20. Now you can see there are 5 rows that have got deleted. Let's look at the data in these 5 rows. Uh, you can see the department number 20 is not available in this table. It's only 10 and 30. So department number 20 data has been deleted from the using the previous delete statement. We can also delete perform delete using columns that have null values. So let me roll back the previous statement. Now let's look at the data. You can see there are some null values here. So let me use null and delete from table name, where job is null. You can see one row deleted. Let's execute the select statement, and we can see there are 14 rows selected here, whereas 15 previously, and the last record, which had job as null value, is deleted. We can also execute delete statement without where clause. Let's see what happens when we execute delete statement. So you can see there are 14 rows deleted, which means all the records from this table are deleted. Let's look at the data in the EMPL table. No rows selected. So which means when we do not specify where clause in the delete statement, all the record from the table gets deleted. So it's always we should be careful while deleting data. So all these DML statements are not auto commit. We have to commit the statements for the changes to be made permanent.